Well, the time is finally here. We are making the s'mores this week. And I even give the dolls a couple of options for ways to roast those marshmallows. Stay tuned and see how simple and easy and fun this project is. All right, a really important part of making s'mores is to have a stick to roast your marshmallow on. And I'm going to show you a variety of different methods to do this. The first one is going to be a wire stick. Because we have wire ones that we use, or metal ones. They're a metal piece that we use in our house when we want to make s'mores. So what I have a piece of 18 gauge floral stem wire. I've cut it about 8 inches, and I'm going to fold over a bit at the end and smush it. You'll see the amount you fold over is not super important. We just want to make kind of a piece like that. So I'm going to do a couple of them. They don't have to be exact. What that's going to do is that is going to, I should have went on my other pliers. It's going to allow our wire to hold onto our clay a little better. This first one, let's see, I've got some pink clay here, and I just pulled some clay that needs to be put away. Take pink and white. You can use any color. I'm going to use a variety of colors on mine. I'm not going to make them all the same color. I'm going to work this clay up. It doesn't matter if it's dirty clay, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, what it is. Mixed colors. This would be a good way to use up those odds and ends of polymer clay that you have left over from other projects. Take a piece, it looks about like the size I want my handle to be. I'm just going to leave it mottled kind of looking. I have some I have Bacon Bond here. Bacon Bond, or is this translucent? No, this is translucent liquid Sculpey. TLS or Bacon Bond, either one will work. Dip that loop you made down into our liquid polymer clay. You can use liquid Fimo or liquid Kato clay, although those are more expensive. And typically I would stick with the Sculpey product for this, simply because it's cheaper and it's a little easier to get. That's going to work like a glue. That's up to you how you want to shape this. I'm just going to make something like that. We can straighten the wire out a little bit more once this handle is dry. Let me pull out this blue clay. It's just like I said, I've just got some clay that's just sitting here. I can tell I'm going to have to clean my hands after I finish with this one though, because it's getting blue all over my fingers. And I won't want to get that on the next one. This clay is a lot harder. I think this must be an old Fimo. No, the Fimo is soft, but it's still, the other was Sculpey and they're softer. Right, once again, dip into the TLS or the Bacon Bond, whatever you have. Kind of work it up the wire a little bit. Make sure that loop is filled. Has a good amount on it. Now you can make all of yours the same color. You could make little finger grip marks in it for your dolls, whatever you want. It's however you want your roasting stick to look. And these would work, all the things I'm making to roast the marshmallows on obviously would work for if your dolls wanted to roast hot dogs. You could make some hot dogs and put on the same sticks, whatever. Wipe my fingers off. What's our next color? I have some yellow, some bend a piece. I'm going to do one more on camera, and then the rest of these I'm going to do off camera. And that's a good size right there. See if I can see if this is how hard this. That was a really hard piece of clay. I'm going to come back to that when I'm not on camera. I'll stick to Sculpey on camera. Sculpey is so much softer. Oh, this is a glittery one. It's a fun place to use the fun ones too, like this glitter clay. This one is, what is this? Red Pearl. This is going to be pretty. I still had a little bit of blue on my fingers. I didn't get it quite all off. That's okay. A little bit more. Get it worked up. Dip in. And form a handle. If you get extra TLS on the wire, just wipe it off. Won't hurt anything. This doesn't matter. We'll fix this later. Once the handle's attached, it will be a little easier. So that's how easy this is. And this will make a big enough handle that the dolls can hold on to it pretty easily. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to put handles on the rest of these. I'm going to bake them off according to the package directions. Use the directions for the lowest temperature of all the clays you're using. And these will need to bake probably for 10 to 15 minutes because they're kind of thick. When that's done, I'll come back and I'll show you a couple more ways to make roasting sticks. Alright, so now these are all baked off and you can straighten the wires. I would still be pretty gentle with these. I don't know how well they'll stay on, but they should stay pretty well through normal handling. Excuse me. Another option is a wooden to make a wooden skewer. And I just dropped something on the floor. I'm going to have to retrieve before I go to my next thing. To do that, I just cut about an 8-inch piece of 1/8 inch dowel. That's about the right diameter. Just use a pencil sharpener and make a point. This is a lot thinner than, say, a wood kitchen skewer. This is too heavy. It would be too much in the marshmallows. This will work. I looked out in my yard to try and find some real, like, branches to make a more natural looking skewer or stick. I didn't find anything that was thin enough and still strong enough to use. But look at what you have available. You might have a different kind of plant than I do. You might have some available that will work. Now, we can put some of our plain marshmallows that we made last week right on here. And I've added some tacky glue to this. Let me do another one like this. Just put a little tacky glue out. I've got some out. Stick the end of my wire in the tacky glue and slide on. These are partially dried but not all the way dry, this marshmallow. 1 or 2 marshmallows, however many your kids want on their skewers. Let's say you want to make some toasted marshmallows. I had to get my brush back. For that, let's get out some more clay. Still have my Model Magic on the table for making last week's. And this is actually some Model Magic that came out a little dirty. Now these can be slightly bigger than our marshmallows last week because remember, a marshmallow swells as it gets hot. So I'm going to put a little glue here. I'm going to run that in. And I have some brown chalk and an eyeshadow brush. I prefer an eyeshadow brush over a some yellow ochre too, over a paintbrush because eyeshadow brushes are made for powder and they tend to hold the powder a little better. And if your marshmallow's a little wonky, that's okay. They get that way when they're toasting. Alright, so that's the lightly toasted variety of marshmallow. But there's that one kid in every group that has to burn their marshmallow, right? We all know that kid. I was usually that kid. So, take a slightly larger piece of clay. And this one doesn't have to be as nicely shaped, because once the marshmallows caught fire, it's usually kind of funny shaped. Now, sticking over here in the back of my stuff, I have some black craft paint. And it tipped over last night, so it's trying to run out. I have a relatively stiff brush here because I don't want to make too much. There's a piece of paper. I kind of dab off some of it. There. Now, you can have that burnt marshmallow. Because, yeah, there's one of me in every group, right, that has to burn their marshmallow. And now that will need to dry. So that's all there is to putting the marshmallows on the sticks. I'm going to go ahead and make a few more toasted marshmallows off camera, put them on the remainder of our sticks. I should probably show you one of these too. Let's go ahead and do a wooden stick, because that's going to be pretty much the same thing. Take a ball of clay, make something similar to a marshmallow shape. Remember, it can be a little bigger. Almost forgot my glue. And a little chalk. And if you're using the wooden stick, you might optionally want to kind of blacken the tip a little. Those get a little bit singed as you're working. So I'm going to make some more marshmallows, put some marshmallows on the rest of these holders, and then I'll come back and we'll put some melted chocolate on some graham crackers. Alright, so we now have marshmallows and all these sticks. Now let's take some of our graham crackers we made last week and put some s'mores together. So I'm going to blow those, take out a piece of clay, and this doesn't have to be rolled out flat. In fact, you don't really want it rolled out flat. This is the same chocolate color we used last week. We're going to make a squarish shape, but we're going to kind of mush it. Because remember, we're making melted chocolate. For the marshmallows, I'm just using original Sculpey. You can use any white polymer clay for this. We are using all polymer clay for this. And now I just made a little kind of a round shape, slightly larger than our marshmallows were. And I'm going to smoosh it down. And I'm using this because this is soft. There. Now I am going to take some clay, some chalk, and the same eyeshadow brush I used earlier. You don't want an even browning because your marshmallow will have cracked as you did this. So that's all there is to this. I'm going to make a couple more s'mores. I'm going to bake them at about 250 to 275, depending on the brand of clay, for, I would say, 10 minutes. This isn't very thick. And when that's all done, I'll come back and we'll look at our completed s'mores. Well, these are now baked and cooled, so the dolls have s'mores. If you want the chocolate to be a little glossy, you can put some gloss, semi-gloss finish on it, like a satin finish on just the chocolate part. I wouldn't put any kind of shine on anything else. But I made 3 s'mores, and of course we have our roasting sticks here with our marshmallows on those. And I think the dolls are ready to go hang out at that campfire I made them a couple of weeks ago and roast some marshmallows and have some s'mores, and I bet they even tell each other some ghost stories out there. I hope you enjoyed this project. I know it took a long time to get done, quite a few episodes, but I decided that breaking it up like this would just make it better, more usable for you, and frankly, I just didn't have time to film this part and the part from last week all in 1 week. So I hope you enjoyed this project. Be sure and check the Facebook page. The link is always in the description box of the video. Be sure and check the blog post. I'll try and take some pictures. And come back next week and see what we make then. Bye.